All right, what is going on, everybody? It's been a couple days since I've done a video, and I apologize about that. It's hard for me to stay consistent and with daily uploads if I'm not doing anything, so I really don't like uploading stale content, which this video might be kind of stale, but I want to explain what's going on, why, the front end isn't back together yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We got all these new tabs welded on. They need to be painted. All this shit needs to be painted and cleaned up a little bit. I've got to tighten up my oil cooler lines down there and also wiring the fans. So I've got the fans in some, well, this is for the crank sensor. Here's for the fans. It goes through, and I'm actually working on it right now. I've been working on it, but Chow's been listening to music, so I couldn't film. So down there we have our two, I guess you'd say power wires to the fans. These are our signal wires that are teed together to go to each relay. These fans pull 18.9 amps each. So I've got 30 amp relays. They should not pull more than 30 amps on startup. I've got a couple ground wires made. Here they are. So I got to put those in, finish wiring that up. I have some parts coming in the mail. One of those parts is a coolant expansion tank. Now, something that I wasn't too familiar with when doing this LS is that the steam ports, which are right here, need to go somewhere else. So I've got to order a steam port kit, and basically it's going to run up to the expansion tank. I'm going to drill this part out right here, which we welded that shut. We should have just had it looped. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was a big deal. So I'm going to drill that out. I'm going to run a hose off of that to the coolant expansion tank. And then I think the last piece that goes to the coolant expansion tank is the overflow out of the top of the radiator. But it's going to be at the highest point. We're going to put it up here. I'm going to take the motor off for the windshield wipers and put the expansion tank here. Scoot the fuel pressure regulator over. And it should give us enough room. I also ordered another catch can, another radium catch can to relieve as much crankcase pressure as possible, because right now this is only a single port. And we've got these -8 lines wide together into one, and I don't think it's not doing enough. So we're gonna put another one somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe on the other side. And yeah, just trying to make sure this thing is tip top for our trip across the country. I had a few people make comments about the car braking and shit, which it didn't really break. I mean, it did, but it wasn't because of faulty products. Somebody's like, oh, you should have got a T56. No, I shouldn't have. I should have got a dog box, but I didn't. So we have the CD09, and I think that I just didn't install it 100% properly. It was close enough to where it worked well, but the longevity of it just wasn't there. So the next time when we put it together, it's going to be perfect, and I shouldn't have any more issues. And Juku has been so nice and graciously ordered me 2 of the clutch kits and stuff, so I have an extra on the road in case something happens. So big shout out to Njuku, and I hope you guys have taken advantage of their Black Friday sale, which is 10% off, I think pretty much everything, and then free shipping on items that aren't freight. So pretty cool. I'm gonna get back at this though, and hopefully get these relays in here. I got the paint removed for our grounds, so we can put our grounds on, and yeah, hopefully by the end of the day we'll be able to hear these fans roar. And when I say roar, hopefully they are roaring, because that wasn't the case last time when the car got hot. So I'm taking every precaution possible to make sure that this car stays as cool as possible. Also, I forgot to mention, Mishimoto is sending me a 160 degree thermostat, because the GM LS one doesn't open until 190. So what I think is happening is it's not opening until 190, and the car, because I'm driving it hard, it doesn't have enough time to catch up with itself to bring the temps back down. So that should help a lot. I'm gonna hop back on this and hopefully get these relays in here soon. When I started this build, I knew nothing about wiring, and to say I know what I'm doing now is kind of an over-exaggeration, but I am starting to figure it out. So to kind of run you through how I did this, I finished it once, didn't film it because I hated it, and I did it wrong. So now I'm going to start in the front. It's going to take a second to explain, but hopefully you guys care and this is something that you're interested in. So the wires that go to the fan motors are a 10 gauge wire. The reason why I use a bigger wire is because these fans pull a bigger amperage and you want to make sure these wires don't get hot. So as you can see, these red wires here that go into this loom, that's my 10 gauge. That goes up into the firewall. And I pulled my dash out because it made my life so much easier, and it kind of looks like a rat's nest, but I'll crawl in here and try and explain to you guys exactly how I did it and why I did it this way. So up there is 2 relays. Those are 40 amp relays. I did some 10 gauge wire up to the kill switch, which is right there. We have our grounds, and then 2 signal wires that are a 10 gauge that wire together over to a switch. And then the 2 10 gauge wires come to the firewall and up to the relays. It's pretty simple. The only problem is any wiring expert would probably tell you that you're supposed to color code this stuff. Now, I don't really need to code it because I know what does what because I did it all. If there is one thing I did on this car all by myself is the wiring with some phone call help from Mr. Chelsea DeNova. Now, it looks kind of shitty. I know, but listen to these things roar. So now, if you remember what the other fan sounded like, it is nothing like this. So, between the fans pushing so much more air, and then also having Mishimoto send the 160 thermostat, and also the radium coolant expansion tank, there is no possible way this thing is going to overheat. And I'm very confident saying that. And I hope that I get everything back together, painted, gearbox fixed, ready to go for our trip to Arizona. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Should be all good. But these things rip. Thank you, Mishimoto. I definitely suggest if you have a higher horsepower car and you're going to be beating the shit out of it, definitely go with the Raceline fans. Now, that being said, I haven't driven the car yet, but I am confident in saying this, that this is the way to go. I should not have another overheating issue. If there is an issue, it is something completely separate from my cooling system, and yeah, should be good. If anybody missed us at Black Friday and missed out getting some Quan Gang merch, I have a little bit of stuff at the house. You can DM me on Instagram or something if you want to pick something up. I don't have a lot of sizes, mostly medium, smalls, lots of lanyards, lots of sunglasses, and I'm hopefully going to have a bunch out at the Desert Mayhan. I don't know how to say it, but the event in Arizona. I don't want to say it wrong or like pretend like I know what I'm saying. So it should be sick. In other news, our plans have kind of shifted for the West Coast trip. You haven't talked about this, right?
I haven't said anything about it.
Okay, so we're still doing everything that we said we were going to do. We're going to the Desert Mayhan event. Then we're going to California. We're going to meet up with our boys from Hoonigan. Lots of you guys have been asking about getting the S14 in the Donut Garage parking lot. So we're going to do that. I am going to be doing a no jumper. I talked with Adam 22. I have done a couple in the past, one strictly for BMX and then once with Antoine Dixon, just kind of on the topic of us. Of us being out of control. But so if you missed those, go check them out. But we're going to do another one talking about what I've been up to, and it should be cool. And then we're gonna turn straight around and go to Texas. We're going to San Antonio to meet up with Mr. Chelsea DeNofa. And he is doing a, what do you call it? Like a drift clinic?
Drift clinic, like an advanced drift clinic.
An advanced drift clinic. So it's 3 days. There'll be a, the first day is a classroom session where he's gonna talk about car setups, answer questions. And Orion and I are actually gonna step in and talk to some of the drivers and that have questions about building a media platform or a social media following to implement into their program if they're doing Pro-Am or Pro-2 or whatever, to help them kind of understand how to do what we do. And it's very important nowadays with building a race program. That's what sponsors want. They want numbers, they want results. So it should be really cool. And then 2 full days of driving. Can't wait. If you live in Texas, I don't know, register, maybe go to Chelsea's Instagram, shoot him a DM, ask him questions, I don't know. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Short and sweet, got some work done. These fans kick ass. Thank you, Mishimoto. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.